Okay, good morning. I'm going to show you in this video how to graph inequalities. What I mean by graphing inequalities, there's equations with these symbols, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And we're just going to go through a couple examples in this video, and hopefully by the end of this video you have a sense of how to graph these algebraic inequalities. So what you can do is, first we need a function. So we can have y is less than or equal to 2x plus 1. Okay. Looking at this inequality, it looks really similar to y equals 2x plus 1. Okay. And this looks really similar to a line. It's actually a line in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Looking at m and looking at b, we can take m to equal 2, that's the slope, so written as a fraction, that's 2 over 1, and then b, that's equal to 1. That means that the y-intercept is at 0, 1. So let's go ahead and plot the y-intercept. The y-intercept is at 0, 1, which is right here. And using the rules of slope, we have rise over run. Positive 2 means go up, positive 1 on the bottom means go right. So I go up 2 to the right 1. Here is my second point. And then before you start drawing your line with your ruler, what you want to do is look at these symbols. Okay? If the symbol is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you want to use a solid line. If it's less than or greater than, use a dotted line. This one's a less than or equal to, so we want to use a solid line, like so. Put our arrow, and then the last step is to do some shading. What you do is you can look at the symbol. It says y is less than or equal to, so less than would be below the line. You can always take a test point too, and I'll do this on this side right here. So I know I want to shade below the line, but let's say we want to take make sure, so we take a test point like 0 or 2, 0 right here, test point. And what you do is substitute, so this is 2, 0, substitute 2, 0 back into your inequality, and we got 0 is less than or equal to 2 times 2 plus 1. 0 is less than or equal to, this is 4 plus 1, 5. That's true. So that means that that point needs to come from the shaded area. If it came out to be false, well, then you have to shade the other side. So let's go ahead and shade below. And you don't really need to make it very neat when you're kind of sketching these things, but that's what that graph would look like. Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to do a different one. Let's go down here. Okay, and we're going to graph the function 2x plus 4y is less than, let's say, I don't know, 16. Okay, 16. This one looks like, and we're going to graph this. This one looks like an equation that's written, or a linear equation that's written in standard form. ax plus by is equal to c. And one way you can graph this is to look at the intercepts or do the cover-up method. Okay, if I do the cover-up method, I'm looking for the y-intercept. I have 4y is equal to 16, and if I solve for y, I get y is equal to 4, and that gives me a y-intercept of 4, 0. So I know 4, 0 is on this graph. And the reason that works is because the way the intercepts work is if I have a y-intercept, x is equal to 0, that's why if I can cover up x, or everything with x, it's okay. Now if I'm looking for the x-intercept, that's when y equals 0. I go ahead and cover up the y's. I got 2x is equal to 16. Solve for x, you get x is equal to 8. That means the x-intercept's at 8, 0. So let's go find 8, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right there. And then I got my 2 dots, or 2 points. I look back at the sign. The sign is less than. Remember, less than and greater than, you have to use a dotted line or dash line. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, use a solid line. So in this case, we have to use a dotted line or dash line, like so. And sometimes if it looks like you made it a solid line, you can always use your eraser and erase little increments. Anyways, now what you can do is you got to figure out where to shade. Okay, this says less than, so what I know is that it has to be below the line, but always be sure. So take a test point, and you don't want to take a point along the line. It has to be obviously above or below. 0, 0 is obviously below. Okay, so we can use 0, 0, and I like using 0, 0 because multiplying by 0 is real easy. If I do this, I get 0 plus 0 is less than 16. I'm testing this point into here, and I got 0 is less than 16. That's true. That means I shade below the line. If you got a false statement, then you shade above. Okay? Yeah, that's going to be good for this video.